Good morning, Santa Clarita. Welcome in. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. I am Matt Watson, and this is SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. Our show, Eye on the Valley, is brought to you, like I said, by SCVi and iLead Schools. We are a network of charter schools with campuses in Castaic, Agua Dulce, Lancaster. We've got a fully accredited online school that is actually TK through 12th grade. iLead Online is an amazing option for kids who need to work from home but don't necessarily want to do homeschooling. We've also got a burgeoning homeschool program called iLead Exploration. You know, you can get more information on iLead Exploration, our home study program, our online program, or any of our classroom-based schools. We've also got several hybrid programs. We've got something for every type of learner. So check us out at iLeadschools.org. And remember, charter schools are public schools. People always ask me, what's the tuition at your school? We are free public schools funded by your tax dollars to provide high quality options for families looking for something different. So again, check us out at iLeadschools.org. So yeah, we keep our eye on education here in Santa Clarita and across the nation, but like the show says, we also keep our eye on the valley as well, bringing you everything that you need to know about what's what here in the valley. And we try to have some giggles and mess around and play a little bit, because if you're not giggling a little bit while you're doing it wrong. So, oh gosh, yeah, I just had that first sip of coffee this morning right as we were coming into the show, and it is always glorious. I gotta tell you, friends, coffee loves me so much. So what about you? Are you enjoying your first cup, your second cup? I tell you what, it is Friday, and I say this every Friday, but it's going to be another gorgeous weekend here in the Valley. I say it because it's true. I mean, it's like Randy Newman said, the sun, it shines all the time. It's like another perfect day. It really just does seem like one beautiful weekend after another. It's just like our show. It seems like one amazing show after another. And, producer Sarah, you've put together another fantastic show again today. Check this out. Coming up on Eye on the Valley, we've got Stephanie Byrne. Stephanie teaches high school at iLead Agua Dulce. That's right. Did you realize there was a high school in Agua Dulce? Yeah. So Stephanie teaches high school at iLead Agua Dulce, and her kids have been super busy lately. They've been doing so much, been having lots of fun, been learning lots of stuff. There's a lot of exciting things going on just up the road here at iLead Agua Dulce. Stephanie and I will talk in just a minute. And then in hour number 2, we've got part of the leadership team from ROWI Teen and Parent Wellness. It feels like the generation gap is currently wider than it's been in decades. And teenagers are struggling with it. Parents are struggling with it. It is not easy to raise kids in 2024. It's never been easy, but it just seems like it's getting more complex, and our kids are struggling with so much. So we'll talk to ROWI's Executive Director of Marketing and Outreach, Karen Berkeley, as well as their Clinical Director of the South Region, Melissa Zive. And then, Big T will be here. If you listen to the show, Mom makes me put my stupid big brother on the show every week. So he'll come in. I make sure that he at least does a little bit of homework. He brings trivia questions, and we giggle and play around a little bit. It's always a train wreck, but like a good train wreck, you're not going to be able to look away. So like I said, pour yourself a second cup of coffee, settle in. We're about to slide into an amazing weekend. Why don't you join us? So let's do this. As I mentioned, my first guest is Stephanie Byrne. Stephanie earned her degree from Long Beach State, majoring in English education, and she holds a credential in secondary English. She is a high school facilitator at iLead Agua Dulce. iLead Agua Dulce opened kind of quietly right before we hit the pandemic. In 2018, they opened up as a K through 5 school, kindergarten through 5th grade. But boy, they have been steadily growing ever since. Since that time, they added TK, they added 6th grade, then they added middle school, 7th and 8th, and they've added high school now, and that has grown. And next year, they'll be adding seniors to their campus and will be a full TK through 12th grade school. They will be the second comprehensive public school here in the region, and yeah, the first is their sister school, SCVi. So yeah, if you've never been to iLead Agua Dulce, you really do have to come visit us. This is probably the most beautiful and unique school campus I've been to in a long, long time. But let's get to our guest, Stephanie. Welcome to Eye on the Valley. Good to have you.
Hi, thanks for having me, Matt.
Of course. Now, Stephanie, I understand you've been an educator for quite a long time. Can you tell us a little bit about your career, how you started, and what your trajectory's been, and then how you came to iLead Agua Dulce?
Sure. Yeah, I have been an educator for a decent amount of time. The path to iLead Agua Dulce wasn't exactly a linear path of sorts, which happens to a lot of us. I actually started teaching English at the largest public high school in Orange County almost 18 years ago, which is crazy to say out loud. It was a positive experience, honestly, coming straight out of the credential program and being hired at such a great school and just a well-known program. But once I started having my own children and growing my own family, my educational lens just kind of shifted to what my children needed. And so early childhood education kind of caught my eye. So for the next 5 years, I actually took the opportunity to work at a co-op preschool, which was eye-opening for me as a mother and as an educator, especially as a mother of a child that had difficulties with learning and wasn't a traditional learner. So the play-based, science-focused fun was being devoured by my child daily, and I saw him grow in his learning and love of being in an educational setting at all. And that director of that particular co-op preschool opened my eyes to alternative education options for older kids as well. So as my kids grew, the needs changed. So I didn't realize that I myself was such a traditional learner and did so well in school and just loved the environment that school provided for me. It was eye-opening as a mother to kind of, and I kind of felt like I got my degree for that purpose, to help my own children find a love of learning, even if it wasn't quite accessible in the traditional setting. So after that, every opportunity I pursued in education was with charter schools and alternative educational settings. But once iLead Agua Dulce started enrolling high school learners, I jumped at the opportunity to be a part of this authentic community and this type of learning program because I actually have children that attend iLead. So I've been keeping my eye on them as they grew, you said, Matt.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned, not all kids learn the same way. Kids need different things. It's so funny. We all look at our own children and understand how unique and special they are. But when we look at, kind of children as a whole, we can tend to think of them as widgets. Kids need this, kids need that. No, different kids have different needs. That's why we need different schools. We need different options for families to choose. My kids, they even though they were only 2 years apart, they needed something very different. They both attended different schools because that's what they needed. So I'm glad you found that. So your kids are now attending iLead Agua Dulce as well. What makes iLead Agua Dulce a good fit for your kids?
Oh my gosh, I cannot tell you how grateful I am to work where my kids go to school. I love our car rides each day. The conversations are amazing, and I know that I'm leaving them in a space that I'm very close by, and they feel very safe, and they're enjoying themselves, and I get to pop my head in and see all the projects they're doing, and then I get to bring my high school learners to their classrooms, and it's been amazing. So I have a 1st, 5th, 8th, and 10th grader. So all 4 of my kids are so different in terms of learning styles and what they need to be successful. So this school provides the opportunity for all of them to learn in which way the modalities they need. What I love about iLead is the community of stakeholders invested in creating learning opportunities for all those different learning styles. We have such great parents and facilitators and people who work here who genuinely care about this community and these children. So my youngest loves attending the music workshop that they offer here. My 5th grader has fallen in love with makery and learning how to use power tools and putting her creative abilities to work that way. My high schooler who struggled in the traditional learning environment and needed a different type of space, enjoys the farm to table workshop that they provide where he gets to test his culinary arts chops and try new foods because he's always had, I call him my Spidey man. He's always had sensory kind of dysfunction, and so foods are very scary for him. So the fact that he comes on Fridays, which is a flexible day for high schoolers, to try new foods is unbelievable. I can't even explain to you. So it's a great fit because they all have different needs and interests, and they kind of provide a plethora of them here in our little town of Agua Dulce.
I love that. You've got quite a span. You've got a first grader, a fifth grader, an eighth grader, a 10th grader, all of them going to work with you at iLead Agua Dulce. Now, Stephanie, with your little one, I spent about 5 years working at the same school my kids attended when they were younger, and my youngest, anytime I would walk into his classroom, he would jump up out of his desk and run over it and come sit on my lap. Do you have issues like that with your kids when you pop into their classroom?
Yes, and I'm so glad. Even with my eighth grader, who you think is at that boy age where he might be a little too cool to be excited to see mom, he is like the first one visiting my classroom in his break and giving me a hug when he sees me and raiding my refrigerator in my classroom. So it is so nice to be able to see what they're doing and also get that love on the side when you walk into the classroom.
Yeah, absolutely. It is wonderful to be a parent who also gets to go to school with their kids. So which came first, Stephanie? Let's do a chicken and egg thing. Did you enroll your kids at iLead Agua Dulce and then decide you wanted to work there, or did you get a job there and then decide to enroll your kids?
They have been here for 4 years. Obviously, my youngest wasn't quite school age yet, so there was 3 here. So they started here in 2019, and then I came through. This is actually my first year. So as soon as they grew into high school and COVID kind of had slowed down a bit, I set my sights on making sure that I get to be a part of this high school program.
That is fantastic, and we're so grateful that you're there because that high school program still is in its infancy, and you get the pleasure of growing it and making it all it can be. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. But Stephanie, as I was kind of painting a picture for our audience of the campus, I just kind of said it was unique. I didn't really do it justice. For our listeners, can you describe a little bit about iLead Agua Dulce, the campus, what makes it so unique and beautiful?
Oh my gosh, it is colorful. That's what I like. They added some color as they took over this campus back in 2018. They also have personalized it to the wants and requests of learners, and learners have been a part of the process of updating and making this campus beautiful and functional. So we have an outdoor classroom, which that was my big pull as a parent when I came in through the tours, looking at all the fun outdoor play that they offer at the different stations. There's a mud kitchen, and there's this play area for them. There's a piano. They have where they can build race car tracks. They have chalk, then they have the traditional playground. So there's options for different types of interests for them to take part in. And then we all of a sudden grew our own farm, and we have many animals that you do not typically see on campus of any sorts. You have the traditional rabbit as maybe a class pet, but here we have things like donkeys and goats and horses and cows that have babies that you didn't know were pregnant, and many other opportunities for this community to engage with animal science. We also have, like I had said, the Makery, which has tools and the ability to grow in a crafty way. We have a music workshop for all ages, and the village provides a farm-to-table opportunity for the high schoolers to engage in learning culinary arts. That's just a few things off the top of my head I can think of that we offer here at iLead Agua Dulce to all ages.
Yeah, and it really is beautiful, and what I love most about it is how well the kids get along. You know, I see oftentimes it happens at our founding school, SCVi, as well. Families with little ones say, "Oh gosh, I'm not sure what it's going to be like sending my my little one to a campus that has junior high and high schoolers on campus." But it really is a beautiful interaction between the older kids and the younger kids, isn't it?
It really is. It gives the opportunity for an authentic audience for the high schoolers to try out some of the things they're speaking about or learning about in their classes. It also gives an opportunity for them to interact on a way that they're going to do in real life. You don't get to just be around people that are your same age all the time.
Right.
You have to be able to have patience, right, and work with others, even if it's someone you may not prefer to work with. So the interaction's kind of minimal. It's nice. High school has like their own little bubble. They can separate themselves to do and feel more like they are high school students, and maybe not just growing from elementary to middle school, because there's that key point that they make as well. So we try and provide that high school experience, that secondary social aspect. But they get to come in to the classrooms and help run fundraisers and social events for them. And I love the initiative they have to starting clubs or classes or workshops. Theater is the big focus right now. They want to have theater classes or a club. The interaction that occurs is just so genuine and authentic. It's really fun to watch.
Yeah, it really is just an amazing school, so unique. Check them out at iLeadAguaDulce.org. That's iLeadAguaDulce.org. They're a free public charter school right up the road here on the east side of the Santa Clarita Valley. I'm talking to high school facilitator with iLead Agua Dulce, Stephanie Byrne, I'm sorry, not Burns, this morning. And Stephanie, we've got so much more to talk about. You've got some incredible stuff coming up this summer. I also want to talk about a few events that just happened there at iLead Agua Dulce. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back. I am Matt Watson. You're listening to SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS. Welcome back. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is Matt Watson, and you're listening to SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. I'm joined this morning by Stephanie Byrne, and not only does Stephanie teach high school at iLead Agua Dulce, your free public charter school on the east side of the valley here, but she's also a parent of a first grader at iLead Agua Dulce, a fifth grader, an eighth grader, and a 10th grader, and all five of them are just really flourishing up here at iLead Agua Dulce. Now, Stephanie, I wanted to talk to you. You've got some pretty exciting things happening with your high schoolers there. Your learners have had some amazing opportunities. Can you tell us about the recent trip that you chaperoned to Washington, D.C.?
Yes. Oh my gosh. It was an amazing trip. I actually had never been before. So I had signed up as a parent to go before I even was the high school facilitator. So I was beyond excited to be double dipping and becoming a chaperone.
Right.
Many of the learners, including my child, had never, been on a plane before or traveled without maybe a parent. So it was memorable for many reasons. We were able to visit so many memorials, museums, government buildings that the eighth graders had a blast in actually seeing with their eyes what they had been learning about in their classes. So some of the places that we visited that I feel like stick out in my mind due to learner reaction would be Mount Vernon, George Washington's house. That was jaw-dropping just because it was a beautiful site, but the fact that they could try and stand next to a statue of what his actual height and stature was at the time, to try and guess what his teeth were made out of and kind of see the fanciness of the time period was really creating a lot of chatter among the eighth graders. And like I said, the property was stunning. So they were just like, wow, this is amazing. And I think what really got them is being able to see that George Washington was actually buried on the property. And they spent a lot of time kind of talking about that time frame and what it would have been like. So to piggyback on that place, it was the colonial Williamsburg town that we went to, which was supposed to be this living history of the first settlers, was a crowd favorite. They did a ghost story tour at the end of the day at sunset. It was a really cool town that just provided a very living history. This is what it would have been like if you were there kind of vibe. And then, of course, Ford's Theater, where Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. They were in awe, and I think I convinced all of them to watch this wonderful show on John Wilkes Booth after we visited. So they couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe where they were, and that is the place that all these things happen that they're literally learning about in school right now. So it was very cool.
It is a really cool opportunity. So as you're coming back on the plane or hanging around at the house with your eighth grader, what do you think maybe some of the main takeaways for the students were?
Well, he has really taken to the book Mouse that they are reading. It's a graphic novel kind of modeled after the Holocaust and World War
Oh,
II and what was going on at the time. And he's been asking me a lot of questions about that. So when we hit the Holocaust Memorial Museum,
mm,
it was very solemn. It was very quiet. We didn't talk during the time, but on the plane right back on one of the legs when he actually sat near me, and he wasn't too cool to talk to me. He talked about like who survived and the ages of the people and if any of them are around now. And
ah,
it was very heavy, but he was very concerned and he had a lot of questions. So of all the things that he saw that were cool and awesome and positive, I know that that's what he took away was really what the extent to what happened at that time frame. And talking to him about that was nice because usually it's just the fun parts. Oh, we're going to go on a plane, and oh, I get to have a sleepover with friends. But no, the fact that he was asking about that was I could tell it hit him hard.
that is really impactful, and what a great compliment to your social emotional curriculum up there at iLead Agua Dulce. I know you all focus very heavily on building empathy in kids, and what an amazing compliment to that. Now, Stephanie, it's May already. I can't hardly believe it, and so we're kind of looking at the end of the school year here coming up as y'all are wrapping up your activities. But I heard that you're not actually planning on taking the whole summer off, are you? You've got another big trip coming up with your learners. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, this time it's going to be with high school learners, and we are going to take a very serious science field studies trip to Costa Rica. We
Wow.
will be going. Yeah, I know, right? I'm so sad that I have to go. Um, we get to explore places I've never been, like Washington D.C. Now Costa Rica. Also, have never been there, and we are going to focus on exploring ecosystems. Apparently, there's about 12 of them in Costa Rica, and coastal conservation. And we're going to learn about deforestation and very hands-on learning. And I'm really excited for the learners that are going. They've been talking about it all year long.
Oh, I can only imagine. That's going to be incredible. Gosh, all work and no play for you, huh? You got to find
No,
some
I
time to
know.
rest.
It's hard. It's a hard knock life.
That's absolutely amazing. And you're taking all of the high schoolers. Well, currently you've got ninth through 11th grade, and so will your eighth grader get to go as kind of an incoming ninth grader? Which grades are going?
They offered it last year as when the signups occurred,
I
and
see.
it was to the current ninth and 10th graders. So right now I have 7 going because in our high school we are a cool 21 solid 9 through 11th grade, but we are doubling in size next year, which is
Yeah.
exciting. But it's a very small group of us. One of the learners that's coming along, it's her birthday while we're there,
Oh.
and I'm excited for her to experience that. And like I said, the small community that this school provides is so exciting. So I
Yeah.
know which each learner wants to do while they're there, what they're looking forward to, kind of their personalities, and how to take that on for 7 days. It's really nice. It's really nice.
Wow, yeah, that's going to be incredible, but kind of a stressful experience to be in charge of 7 other people's kids for a week. So
Oh yes.
it'll be exciting, but a little stressful for you as the chaperone. I want to talk a little bit about the curriculum there at iLead Agua Dulce. Our schools focus very heavily on project-based learning. So can you share with our listeners maybe a little bit about what that looks like and how project-based learning is rolled out at iLead Agua Dulce?
Absolutely. Well, from a secondary high school perspective, it looks like authentic, inquiry based, real world type studies. It looks like high interest, focused research, and share outs to authentic audiences being other learners in the lower grades or parents or maybe some community stakeholders. Lots of opportunities to fail forward and really learn through the process, reflect and refocus and revise. I keep telling them, fail forward. It's the best thing that you can do. If
Nice.
you don't try, you fail automatically. So it's patience. They have a podcast, the 10th graders, that they've been wanting to do since the beginning of the school year. And they just finished their very first podcast and got it out to the staff this week. So it can be a slow process sometimes, but projects kind of look different from that high school perspective. So we have in one of our ninth grade science classes, a staple, a loved project, I guess, that's done prior to this year, because my son loved it, is the Mycology Bucket Challenge. And it's a part of like a larger focus that they have in that class, in the biology class. And they're focused on testing like effective and sustainable ways to cultivate mushrooms. So they use buckets and wood chips, and it's a huge process. So we are lovingly referring to it as the Bucket Challenge. Our 10th graders they enjoyed this project so much last year. As ninth graders, they've stepped in as mentors to help facilitate the project. There's also a career technical education, like entrepreneurial pathway that we do. So we really want them to find confidence in self-advocacy and kind of going through the motions without so much direction. So that's been really fun watching them do that bucket challenge together with the mycology thing. I can't wait to see what mushrooms are grown, because I remember eating my son's last year's, and it was really good. They were really good. So I look forward to what comes out of all these kids. We also do within that career pathway of entrepreneurship, the 11th graders, all grades next year will be able to do it, but the 11th graders got to go to kind of a game of life type simulation at Junior Achievement Finance Park just a couple weeks ago. And they're given a unique scenario, like a marital status, salary, credit score, etc. That's already picked for them. They don't get to assume that they're rich YouTube stars.
Sure.
And they had to budget within their means based on the given circumstance. And it was such a valuable experience. I got to do it alongside them, and their conversations about how much childcare costs and how much their gas bill was and why they didn't get approved for a loan was just invaluable. You could see they were really learning true, this is what I need to know, next steps things. So if you're in high school, that's kind of our focus. Make sure that we prepare you for whatever comes after high school, be it college, if it's a career-specific trade that you're going to go into, or if you're going to start owning your business because you're an artist, like some of our 11th graders plan on doing. We're going to provide that support.
Yeah, it's funny. For years, I've heard my friends saying, why don't schools, specifically high schools, teach more about what kids need in real life? Why don't they teach kids to budget, to do these things? And you're doing it there at iLead Agua Dulce. I love the idea that your son went to school and instead of saying his dog ate his homework, he said his mom ate his homework. Oh my gosh. So now you get the amazing opportunity. Like I said, right now, iLead Agua Dulce is TK through 11. You are the high school facilitator. You have the amazing opportunity to grow the school into having its first group of seniors. That's an amazing opportunity, an amazing responsibility, because Stephanie, you're going to be setting precedent. You're going to be building that legacy. So what preparations are you making for your seniors, and what have they got their eyes on? Are they starting to look at college already?
Oh gosh, I feel like our fabulous 5 soon-to-be seniors have been looking and wondering and knowing what they're going to do after this moment, since they were probably in 5th grade. They're such motivated go-getters, and they're really excited about the prospect of being our first graduating class, which is awesome. So since there is such a small number of graduating seniors next year, it's possible to kind of tailor our college and career focus for them. Mm-hmm. We have guest speakers from all types of career paths sharing either like what they do and how they got to where they are currently, or maybe they focus more on their actual experience applying to college and going to college. But we have lots of speakers that come in, and they're kind of specific to what the kids have wanted to hear, and then what else we can add in. We recently had a snail scientist who was by far the biggest hit for the month that we had people, and we had a smoke jumper come in and zoom in and talk to us. So it's not your average career path that we just focus on. It's everything we can find. And our counselor works closely with the learners to kind of help them get through aptitude tests, to maybe look at career paths they weren't thinking about, college tours, I have a few incoming 11th graders that are highly interested in film, so we have a CalArts very close by that we're trying to go get a tour at and bring someone in. We've had artists come in and work with the kids, so just kind of letting them know, it's great to have big dreams about what's next, because a lot of them do want to go to art school and run their own art businesses, and it's even better when you get to meet people who have done that, and can offer that mentorship. So we're trying to partner with them, because we have amazing parents that are doing exactly what they should do with their children to get them prepared for college on their end. So we're just trying to partner with them and make it as as least shocking as possible going into it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. We're gonna have to put you in touch with an iLead alum, Griffin Locke. He's a filmmaker. I believe before he graduated high school, he had filmed and released 4 feature films, and he's working on a couple more now, and he's in his early 20s. We'll have to have him stop by and talk to your kids. That'd be great.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing. They would love that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Stephanie, I was out at your campus just this time last week. Y'all had one of your fun annual events. I'm talking about iLead Agua Dulce's annual Play Day. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about Play Day and what goes on your campus on that day?
How fun was that? I think it speaks for itself. It was absolutely a day of play. There were different stations for all learners and family members to enjoy, from sensory play to parachuting, up and down games with one of those big things. There's a sports area. They had foam. The kids were having a foam party.
Yeah.
We had snack bars where the high schoolers were the cashier. They were also the bakers of lots of the goods that they were selling, and helping kind of facilitate the snack bar. Also, high schoolers were helping facilitate the sensory play, and they were the cleanup crew. And we had book fair going on at the same time, and we had rock band playing, because a lot of our learners have music class, and they've been working on some songs for events just like this.
And there was
Nirvana music and dancing.
It was so cool.
It was so cool, and it's different ages. And they would switch off and play in different groups. It was quite the event and celebration of play. Period. That's what we stand for. It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love, and you're right, there is a huge focus on play, because, well, I always start our show off saying, if you're not giggling while you're doing it, you're not doing it right. And play is an important part of learning, but it's not play instead of learning. One, play is learning. And then you've already talked about some of the deep, rigorous projects that you've got going on. Your kids are studying mycology, the science of mushrooms and all that they're used for, and your kids are learning the principles of flight. They just went to Washington, D.C. to learn all about the foundations of our country. You're taking your kids to study different ecosystems in Costa Rica this summer. That's going to be horrible. Oh, my gosh. So, Stephanie, if listeners are interested, you said that your high school is doubling in size next year. That's going to be quite a bit of growth. Do you still have you still got any spots left? Are listeners able to enroll, or are you guys all full?
No, we are not quite full yet. They are absolutely able to enroll if they want to. Go to iLeadAguaDulce.org and sign up for a tour by pushing the green button at the top of the page. They can do so. I saw 4 or 5 families here yesterday for their tour with Miss Gladys. It was wonderful. We're always growing. Yeah, the more the merrier.
Yeah, and what I love about taking a tour is there's no deposit required. Again, we're tuition free, so there's absolutely no obligation. Families can go take a tour. If they don't like it, they can continue where they're at or move on. And I always like to share with my listeners a little inside hack. Before you take the tour, fill out the application. That bumps you up on the priority list and kind of gets you ahead of a couple of other families. Fill out the application. Go take a tour. Like I said, if you're not interested, you can pull your application later. But if you are interested, it gets you one step closer to that front door. So again, check them out at iLeadAguaDulce.org. Stephanie Byrne, thank you so much. You're doing amazing things with our high schoolers, and I know all 4 of your kids, first grade through 10th, are loving it out there. I want to thank you for all you do and for joining us this morning.
Oh, thank you, Matt. Thanks for having me. Have a great weekend.
You too. Take care. When we get back, what are you doing this weekend? Stephanie just wished me a great weekend. It is going to be a great weekend indeed. What have you got going on? There's a whole lot going on out there. You stay tuned. We'll talk all about it when we get back. I am Matt Watson. You're listening to SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS. Welcome back. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is Matt Watson, your host, and you are listening to SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. Gosh, I over the break I asked if Stephanie could stay a little bit longer because there's just so much to talk about going on at iLead Agua Dulce. We were talking to, if you missed it, Stephanie Byrne from iLead Agua Dulce. She is the high school teacher. Yeah, she handles all the subjects there in the high school because, the enrollment is just a couple dozen kids, but they're doubling in enrollment next year. She's doing amazing things with her kids. And being very creative, but alas, she had to get to class. She had to run off. She says it's just me in the high school this morning. Fridays are flex days, and so the high schoolers are allowed to work from home if they'd like, but most of them choose to come in. Could you imagine that? When I was in high school, I just, if they told me that I could take Fridays off, peace out. But, I think she gets pretty darn near 100% of her kids showing up on Fridays. And so she had to run. If you missed it, check it out on the podcast. You can go to hometownstation.com and check out the podcast of today's show or any of our shows in the past. They've got some amazing things going on up at iLead Agua Dulce. And again, just check out their website at iLeadAguaDulce.org. If you don't believe me about what we shared about the beautiful campus up there and all the amazing things going on, they've got several videos and things like that posted on their website. You can check it out even without having to go to the campus. But I would encourage you, schedule a tour, go up there. Gladys is so much fun. She's amazing. She'll give you a tour, and it's definitely worthwhile. Like I said, we're tuition free, so there's no deposit required or anything like that. We are a free public charter school. So go to iLeadAguaDulce.org, schedule a tour, go take a look, fill out the application. If you're not interested, you can pull that application later. And, but I think you're going to love it. Again, iLeadAguaDulce.org. Before the break, I mentioned that we've got some incredible things going on this weekend here in the Valley. Lots of great things to get involved with. Last weekend was another busy weekend, bunch of stuff going on. And actually, Jen, I understand you all had a lot of fun at the Home and Garden Show. The whole KHTS team was out there. Tell me about it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had perfect weather.
Yeah,
I don't think you could have written it any better. Both days, Saturday and Sunday, were probably mid-70s, nice breeze and sunny. We had a really great turnout. They were I was speaking with Lori here behind the scenes at the station, and she was saying that it was one of the best years we've ever had.
Oh, wow.
We've been doing this for 13 years. This was our 13th year. Only missed out for COVID, of course. And I think people just wanted to be out and about, enjoy the nice weather. They brought their dogs. They had their kids. It was a nice family event. My husband came by with our daughter, and they really enjoyed that. We had a petting zoo out there.
Yeah.
There was a butterfly tent. So it was nice because it was, dad could get some stuff done. Mom can get some stuff done. Yeah. We were looking into possibly a new roof for our house. So, it was nice to see all the different options that you can do. And then, the kids have something fun to do as well.
Absolutely.
So it was great. Very, very impressive event.
Yeah, cool. Shove the kids in the butterfly tent and
Yeah.
check out the Corvettes. Yeah.
I think that's what he did. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Free babysitter.
And there's a lot more stuff coming up this weekend. It's going to be, like I said at the top of the show, another absolutely gorgeous weekend here. This is why your rent's so high. This is why your insurance is so much. But it is a beautiful place to live, and there's some amazing events going on. Tonight, May 3rd, that is tonight at 8 p.m., Enchanted, a night of vaudeville at the Main. Do you know what vaudeville is? So much fun. It was a type of entertainment popular in the United States in the early 20th century, where the audience boos and hisses at the bad guy and cheers for the good guy. And, the shows usually feature a mixture of specialty acts as, magic, comedy, song, and dance. So once you come down to Main Street tonight, grab some dinner, and then head on over to the show at the Main at 8 o'clock tonight. Tomorrow, Saturday, May 4th, there's a lot going on in town. In fact, I'm going to be bouncing all over the place tomorrow. I'm going to be starting out in the morning at Relay for Life. They're calling it this year, May the Cure Be With You, because, of course, it's on May 4th. May the 4th be with you. This is May the Cure Be With You. This year's American Cancer Society Relay for Life of Santa Clarita takes place, like I said, tomorrow, May 4th, from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. It's going to be all day long out at Central Park with the theme May the Cure Be With You, a Disney Star Wars celebration. Disney is celebrating 100 years of wonder, and the American Cancer Society is celebrating, they one-upped them, 110 years of fighting back to end cancer as we know it for everyone. So, yeah, I'll be out there. Come join me at Central Park for the Relay for Life. Valencia Hills Spring Boutique fundraiser is taking place. It is a free, fun-filled, family-friendly event in Santa Clarita. Bring the whole family for shopping, food trucks, and a free bounce house. Check it out. You can get in there and jump around with your kids and blow out a knee. And not just, you know what, let the kids do the bounce house. You enjoy the food truck and the shopping. Support local vendors selling clothes, treats, arts, crafts, cosmetics, candles, toys, jewelry, and much, much more. That is Saturday, May 4th, tomorrow at 10 a.m. The Santa Clarita Valley Concert Band presents Starry Night at the Canyon Theater Guild. Tickets are available at CTG at the CTG box office. That's the Canyon Theater Guild box office right here on Main Street. Or you can call 661-799-2702, 661-799-2702, or you can get tickets online at canyontheater.org. That is the Santa Clarita Valley Concert Band presenting Starry Night. Or you can pick up tickets at the door. Show starts at 7. Check that out. Also at the Main, gosh, we talked about the show that they've got going on tonight. They've got the vaudeville Enchanted at the Main tonight. Tomorrow night, totally different show. It's amazing how quickly they turn things around and have something completely unique and different for you. So you're right back at the Main. Check out Punchlines. Punchlines is coming up, and as you might imagine, Punchlines at the Main is an ever-changing show that brings local and nationally touring comics to the main stage. Oh, the main stage. I see what they did there. Yeah. So come out to this gut-busting night of laughter that features new comedians at each show. Again, at 8 p.m. Perfect opportunity to come down to Main Street and visit one of the amazing restaurants that we've got here in downtown Newhall, and then head on over to the Main for comedy. That is tomorrow night, May 4th. And then Sunday, this is, well, gosh, if you're, this is one of my favorite events of the year. It seems like I'm saying that every weekend, but it's true. I love this event. I've been going for, not quite 35 years, but probably 30 years. This is the 35th annual Taste of the Town. In fact, I believe it was our station owners, the Goldmans, who were the first chair people of Taste of the Town 35 years ago, and for quite a while. Taste of the Town is the Child and Family Center's largest fundraiser of the year. We had the CEO, Nikki Buxted, of the Child and Family Center on the show just a couple of weeks ago talking about it. And it is more important than ever before. Over the past year, the therapists at Child and Family Center and the case managers have continued to help over 1,200 children, teens, and families in our community who struggle with anxiety, depression, drug and alcohol abuse, and domestic violence situations. So your support goes to providing funding to continue these crucial services in our community. So check out the 35th Annual Child and Family Center's Taste of the Town. The event starts at 1 p.m. tomorrow. And it's an amazing event, and it really is a taste of the town. There's just dozens and dozens of restaurants, wineries, and breweries there. They set up shop, and for your admission, you get to just wander around and have a taste of each of the restaurants. And what I always like to do is I like to hit and get a taste of each one, figure out which one's my favorite, and then just keep going back for more. And yeah, it is, a day of fun and sun. They've got entertainment, music, dancing. They've got silent auction items, and it's just an amazing fundraiser. And for me, it's just another day of gluttony. I love it. So that's Sunday, May 5th, 1 p.m. Check out the information on the Child and Family Center's website. File this one under Save the Date. The Boys and Girls Club of Santa Clarita has their Tiki Hideaway event. Pam and Dennis Verner are hosting this tropical paradise themed event that promises entertainment, delicious food, and exclusive auction items, as they always do at the annual Boys and Girls Club dinner and auction. This year is Tiki Hideaway. So check that out on June 1st. So much going on here around town this weekend. You can get more information about these and a lot of other events at the KHTS website, hometownstation.com. You stick around. We will be right back. I'm Matt Watson. You're listening to SCVi and iLead Schools Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS. Welcome back. Welcome back indeed. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is Matt Watson, your host, and you are listening to SCVi and iLead Schools Eye on the Valley. For those of you just joining us, where the heck have you been? We've been on the air for an hour now. Don't feel too bad. It's going to be another probably 35, 40 minutes before my mom joins the show. So if you did miss the first hour, you missed a great hour. We talked to Stephanie Byrne from iLead Agua Dulce. What a great guest. She was absolutely fantastic. Great energy. And she and her family are absolutely in love with iLead Agua Dulce. She teaches high school, and she's got a 10th grader, an 8th grader, a 5th grader, and a 1st grader. Gosh, it must be crazy around the house. But all 4 of her kids attend iLead Agua Dulce, and so the 5 of them get up and go to work in the morning together. But she was talking about all the amazing things going on. If you missed it, check it out on the podcast, or just check out their website at iLeadaguadulce.org. We also talked about a lot of the amazing events going on in and around town this weekend. There's lots of fun out there. So if you haven't made your weekend plans already, head on over to hometownstation.com and check out the things to do in Santa Clarita this weekend. There's a whole bunch of stuff, including the Child and Family Center's amazing Taste of the Town event. My lips are watering. My mouth is watering already just thinking about it. Alrighty, well, joining me now are 2 members of the leadership team with ROWI Teen and Parent Wellness. They're doing great work. Karen Berkeley is the Director of Marketing and Outreach with ROWI. Karen has 2 decades of diverse experience in communications and public affairs. As an expert relationship builder with a strong command of language and persuasiveness, there's no audience she can't engage, so you're in for a treat. In person or print and on the radio, her career has taken her from the halls of Congress to the vast landscape of nonprofit cubicles. But the most common thread woven throughout her professional experience is her passion for people and organizations striving to serve the public good. And her colleague, Melissa Zive, is an accomplished and respected mental health clinician, currently serving as a clinical director for ROWI, Teen and Parent Wellness Centers. After graduating from the University of Denver with a master's in social work, Melissa was licensed in Colorado in 2012 and California in 2016. She's worked in private practice, school, intensive outpatient, and partial hospitalization program settings. Her core therapeutic beliefs are growing passions and using strengths to build on areas of need. Melissa especially enjoys working with individuals and families, as well as leading parent support groups and supervising associate clinicians. Karen, Melissa, welcome to Eye on the Valley.
Thank you for having us. We're super excited to be here.
We're so glad you're joining us, and this is an area that I have a particular passion about. My life's work has been working with children and teenagers, and raising my own teens. This became an area that I was particularly interested in. I'm talking about parenting and teen mental health. So let's start first with a little bit more about the 2 of you. Working in the field of teen and family mental health can be extremely rewarding, but it can also be very taxing as well. Karen, Melissa, what called each of you to this line of work, and then why ROWI in particular?
That's a great question. So for me, in the therapeutic world, I've always wanted to work with kids and their families. Even as a teenager, when I remember being a camp counselor and always wanting to work with the kids that were struggling, that no one else wanted to work with.
Uh-huh.
And went to graduate school. I decided that, I want to really hone in on kids that are struggling, kids that are misunderstood. And I felt like I always had a knack for being able to understand the kids that weren't able to be understood which led me into social work, which then led me into working with kids on the autism spectrum, then led me into the mental health world because there is such a correlation with autism and mental health. And then here I am today working at ROWI, leading the clinical team.
That is beautiful. Karen, what about you?
Well, I think you mentioned it a little bit in my bio that, I have a background in public service. I worked in government in D.C. and in the political realm. And I always just have been driven by my personal values of wanting to make the world a better place, wanting to do something that's making a difference, that's not just like manufacturing, nuts and bolts or something, which I guess has its purpose. But
Sure.
That's not what drives me. I want to help people's lives as directly as possible. And so for a while, I worked, in politics and supported candidates I thought were going to help make our communities better. And then I worked in the nonprofit sector for various charitable organizations, including Girl Scouts. In my most recent stint, I worked for the Girl Scouts. And I've always enjoyed things that are going to impact kids because, they're the future. And our community should all care about kids and teens and their opportunities to succeed and thrive, however they define that. And so when this opportunity came up to work with ROWI, I was really excited. I have 2 kids myself. One is 8, and he's neurodivergent because he has ADHD.
Okay.
And then I have a 12-year-old who also has mental health struggles. And so this speaks to me as a parent. And I know that there's a lot going on in our communities with mental health right now. It's obviously in the news quite a bit. And to be part of an organization using my own unique skill set to help them. I'm not a clinician, but using my experience and skills to support enabling more people to utilize our services, that's a real gift for me personally.
Well, thank you. I love hearing people's why, especially folks who dedicate their lives, their careers to making the world a better place, which the 2 of you are doing. So we appreciate that. Now, Karen, tell us a little bit more about ROWI and the mission of your organization. What do y'all do?
Yeah, so first of all, I'll start out by explaining what ROWI even means.
Yeah.
People are like, what is ROWI? Is that a person? What is that? And so ROWI stands for Roots and Wings. The R-O is roots and the W-I is wings. And it comes from an ancient quote that's unattributed to anyone in particular, but it says that there are 2 gifts that parents give their kids. One is roots and the other is wings. And the idea is that we're giving kids roots and a security and safety and a strong foundation and a grounding. And then we're giving them wings so that they can soar and thrive and be their own person independent of us. And so these are the gifts as parents that we give our kids. And that's where the name ROWI comes from. And we were founded in 2017 by Dr. Candace Feinberg. She is a clinical psychologist. She and her husband are the founders. He's more of an entrepreneur and she's the clinician, so it's a good balance. And they founded us in Thousand Oaks in 2017, and since then we've grown. We have now opening this month our 16th location in Southern California,
Wow.
which will be in North San Diego County, which is amazing.
That is amazing.
So, it's really extraordinary growth, which I think speaks to a couple of things. That, A, that we have a quality program, and B, that there's a huge need for it, in our community. So, yes, we have our Valencia location, which we're super proud of. We've been able to really touch, many, many kids and families there. And so what do? We run what's called 2 different programs. One is called a partial hospitalization program, which sounds scary, but it's really a full day program. It's not a hospitalization. It's not a hospital-like environment. And we can get into that further.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a full day program for kids who have primary mental health issues. And I'll let Melissa explain that further in a second. And then we have a second program that's called intensive outpatient. And that is more of an after-school program. So we do support kids with primary mental health issues like anxiety and depression. And I can have Melissa go into that a little bit further.
Yeah, please.
So in terms of our 2 programs, we have our partial hospitalization, which is called PHP, and then the intensive outpatient, which is IOP. And the way it works is that any client that's interested, our clinicians will do an assessment, and at that assessment, they will help decide what we call level of care. looking at the acuity, the level of need. Where is this client? Where is the child struggling? What do they need? Do they need full day support, or are they able to go to school and come to us for the after school support? And within our program, we really individualize that treatment. So they're getting individual therapy and group therapy. We do process groups and insight-oriented groups, which is kind of like our CBT and our DBT, as well as ACT, which are all different fun therapeutic modalities. And then something exciting that ROWI does is experiential therapies. So we bring in art therapy and yoga and music. Some of our programs do surf therapy or equine therapy. So lots of different opportunities for clients to be able to experience things that maybe they haven't experienced before. And for me, building passion is a really important piece of treatment, because one of my little quotes that I tell my teens all the time that I work with is, when we see a lot of our teens in their bed cocoon, when they don't want to get out of bed and they're wrapped in their...
Yes, I know it well.
Yeah, that idea of the bed cocoon, and I say, you're not going to come out a butterfly of your bed cocoon. And so the way that we become a butterfly is to be trying new things, opening up, processing, joining in with peers. A big part of our program is group therapy. And so they're in a milieu, which is like a therapeutic community, and really being able to process together and talk together, build relationships together. That's a really big part of ROWI specifically, is social skills and building those relationships. I would say neurodivergent and neurotypical teenagers all struggle with social communication right now. And thank you to social media and all the other ways that people communicate that isn't face-to-face. And so we really give them those tools and those skills to be able to communicate effectively with one another. In terms of what we treat clients with depression and anxiety, gender identity struggles. A big component of our work is working with clients with suicidal ideation and self-harm, ADHD, trauma, personality disorders and OCD, school avoidance, impulse control and emotional regulation. And then a specialty of ROWI is working with clients on the autism spectrum. A lot of programs do not... Having autism a lot of times is an exclusionary characteristic for a lot of programs, where they say, oh, we don't treat that. For ROWI, that's actually one of our specialties. We welcome clients on the autism spectrum. We have internal token economy systems, which is reward systems that all of the teens are engaged in, not just our clients on the autism spectrum, but it's a very motivating program for them. And we also are connected with the UCLA Peers curriculum. So we have peer certified staff, which is a amazing social skills, social awareness curriculum that all of our teens are a part of, not just our teens on the autism spectrum, but every single client gets to go through the Peers curriculum, which is really exciting.
Gosh, we are just absolutely falling in love with ROWI Teen and Parent Wellness Centers here on Eye on the Valley. We're talking with two of their leaders, Melissa and Karen. Now, Melissa, you're a teen and parent wellness center, but a lot of the stuff that you've been talking about seems to me, and maybe I'm wrong, to be focusing on teens. How is it that you serve the parents as well?
That's a great question. So a big part of our program is parenting work. So all of our families get family therapy. It is individualized treatment, so depending on the family, depending what they need, depending on what the family makeup is, it looks a little bit different for everyone. Sure. Do mom and dad live in the same house? Do mom and dad live in different houses? How can we make sure that we include everyone, especially with teens? And some teens are like, I don't want dad involved. How do we get them to be able to communicate effectively with all of their families? Because the family system is such an important part of the teenage years. Yeah. So family therapy is included in our program and is a must. We also do parent support groups where parents are able to join together to really feed off of one another, get ideas, get support, get validation from one another. So that's another aspect that is part of our program. And then for some families who need extra parent coaching, where on top of the family therapy, they need a little bit of extra parenting support, we do offer that as well. So the family work is a big part of our program. We cannot help our teens without helping the full family system.
I will just add to that, it's when you're struggling with a kiddo with mental health challenges or neurodivergence, it can be a lonely experience. And so I think that seeing other families, facing those challenges as well, having that kind of community here within ROWI is one of the added benefits. If you're sending your kids to therapy weekly and you're not seeing that they're getting, they're advancing, and you have some family dynamics that need to be resolved, we kind of incorporate all of the different therapies and supports to help the whole family. And it's just a step up really from, that weekly therapy where you're just not seeing any progress.
Yeah.
This is a bit, it's quite a bit more intensive depending on whether you're in the full day or the after school version of our programs. But, it is a community that you're part of and that people stay connected to as well. And so that's just it's an indescribable value for these parents, because there's so much guilt associated when your kiddo is struggling. It's like, what did I do? Did I mess them up? And the fact is that, parents that come to us they're automatically ahead of the game as a quality parent, as a good parent, by seeking additional support. We can't do it all for our kids.
Yeah.
I'm just a regular parent. I do marketing and outreach as my job. I'm not a parenting expert, so everybody needs to tap into these experts, or get the right kind of support and guidance to when they're facing these challenges. And so we hope that parents that approach us, for, interest in the program realize like they're not alone. They are not the only ones struggling.
Yeah, I'm an educator, and in education, we talk about multiple tiered systems of support, where there's that tier one, there's that instruction, or in your case, love and care that every child gets. But then there are some kids that need another level of instruction, that they need other supports, just like the love and care that you all provide. And so maybe there's that next level that you all provide. And to such a high need, you're right. There are oftentimes parents that think that their situation is hopeless, and what do I do? And there's no playbook for this, and you're there serving those needs. I'm so excited that you guys have a location here in Valencia. Tell me, what ages do you serve? What age kids? We've been talking about teens. Is it just those teenage years?
So in our Valencia locations, we serve clients 12 to 17. We do have a new program in our Encino location and also in our Tustin location in Orange County. I know it's a drive, but we have a kids program now. So our kids program is servicing those kids that are 8 to 12-year-olds. So there is that little overlap of 12. 12 is an interesting age. We have some 12-year-olds that are very mature and, are able to manage with the big kids, the teenagers. And then there are some 12-year-olds that it doesn't work for them. They're not ready for the teenage processing, and so they are able to participate in the kids program. It's very similar to our teenage program, a little different in that we also have speech therapy and occupational therapy groups for our kids program, because that is a huge need for those 8 to 12-year-olds specifically. A lot of times we're playing like Sherlock Holmes at that age, trying to figure out what really is going on, what services do you need. And the same thing we're doing for our teens. A lot of times our teens are coming in with being misdiagnosed, mismedicated. Really what's going on, that clarity for the family and for the teen is really important so that we can really hone in and really support them in the way that they need to be supported.
It really is important. And, I remember as a dad with teenagers, just sometimes wanting to be able to open up my kid's brain and look and see what's going on in there. And you all are helping parents do that, helping them tap into the resources that are needed to help get their kids the care that they need. ROWI Teen and Parent Wellness Leaders, Director of Marketing and Outreach, Karen Berkeley, and Clinical Director of the South Region, Melissa Zive, joined me this morning. More on the amazing services they provide and how you can get in contact with them when we get back. I'm Matt Watson, and you're listening to SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS. Welcome back. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. I am your host, Matt Watson, and a little something about me. When I was about 12 years old, my mom quietly snuck into my bedroom while I wasn't there, and she hung up a tiny little plaque on the wall of my bedroom that said, "There are two things that we give our children. One is roots and the other is wings." And I don't think my mom knows exactly how often I would stand there and stare at that plaque and contemplate the roots that my family were in the process of giving me, and the wings that I was developing. And it anchored me to my family, and it made me think about, where I'm going to be flying off to. And ROWI, ROWI, stands for Roots and Wings. ROWI Teen and Parent Wellness Leaders join me this morning. Director of Marketing and Outreach, Karen Berkeley, and Clinical Director of the South Region, Melissa Zive. Such a beautiful mission, ladies, that ROWI has. We were talking about it last break, and then Engineer Jen was laughing at us when we were off the air because the three of us couldn't stop talking about how wonderful the work is that you do and how rewarding it is, how important it is. Melissa, it seems like over the last so many years, and even before the pandemic, but boy, did that kick our kids in the stomach. It seems like we've had a huge increase in concerns over teen mental health. Is that true, or is it just something I'm becoming aware of? And if so, why do you think that is?
Being a teenager is hard. I think being a teenager has always been hard. And, brain development, identity development, all these things are happening during the teenage years. And, Eric Erickson, who's we all learn about him in psychology. He talks about how teenage years are traumatic. And it really is. And I think, within the recent past and even current, there's just so many extra stressors on our teenagers, from academic to social. We add in social media. There's this whole new layer of communication and outside influence that me as a teenager, I didn't have to deal with. It was like the beginning of Google, where we had to use a phone line to be able to to get into the internet. And now it's so accessible. So there is a huge component that there's so many extra layers to being a teenager right now. And I think there's a lot more awareness of what's going on, which is a beautiful thing that we can hopefully, as professionals and teachers and people that just have more touch points with teenagers, can be more aware of mental health and when kids are starting to struggle. A lot of the research and what we talk about within the clinical team here is that a lot of times it's about 2 years too late when kids are coming to us to get treatment. And so if we can catch kids earlier that are starting to struggle or really starting to show signs that maybe they're not doing okay, that we can catch it. So I think there is a beautiful component of mental health and teen mental health being in the limelight, because we can have more awareness, more open, honest conversations about mental health, where maybe those were a little bit more taboo back in the day.
Yeah, definitely. Parents, if you or your teen are struggling, there's no knock. There's no, you didn't do anything wrong. Your kid just needs a little bit different support than maybe, maybe your older kid. But gosh, you're right, Melissa. I remember growing up, I was kind of awkward in junior high school and dealt with a little bit of bullying. And I remember loving when school got out so that I could just go home, shut my bedroom door, and just be me on my own. But with internet and social media and all that stuff, oftentimes that's impossible, right? The stressors of being a teen are creeping in to even into our kids' phones, into their bedrooms. It's scary. Now, tell me, I'm going to play the role of kind of a detached dad, right? I'm busy in my work and my career. I've got a lot of stuff going on. And, I've got other kids that may be involved in sports. And if I've got a child that needs treatment through ROWI, I'm going to be very grateful for your services. But I'm busy. I can just drop my kid off and let you guys take care of him. But that's not your philosophy, right? Why is it important for the whole family of a teen to be involved in their treatment?
That's a great question. I actually always tell families that I don't have a magic wand. Sometimes I wish I did. The magic wand is really the support, the family, the being able to take the skills that we're teaching the teen and the kid, and really being able to engage the entire family in those skills and working together. Effective communication, being able to validate, being able to understand, being able to when to jump in, when to let your kid be. There's a lot of important skills in being a parent, especially to a teenager. There's the change between an 9, 10, 11-year-old and then a 13, 14, 15-year-old is a huge change because at 8, 9, 10, our kids still want us to fix their problems. Mommy, Daddy, fix it for me. And they want it. As they kind of shift into these teenage years, parents are still trying to fix those problems, and teens are getting angry because they just want their parents to listen. And so one of the biggest things that I teach families is asking their teen, do you want me to just listen or do you want advice? And so we're actually asking them what they're looking for because bless our teens' hearts, they're not the best at communicating their wants and needs. And so if a parent comes in and tries to be Mr. or Mrs. Fix-It, the teen will say, why are you trying to solve my problems for me? And go into the, the spiral or the washing machine of, frustration and anger. Well, when our families can actually ask what their teen needs, we have so much better outcomes. I think the important thing of the whole family really being engaged in treatment is that we all need to work on our stuff. Our teens actually do so much better when they know that their parents are working on their stuff too. We are not perfect. No one is perfect. And if someone comes in and says, it is all them, it is not me, and I look at them and say, I bet I can find the things, right? We all have things we need to work on. And that's why we're here. It's a zero judgment. Everyone can be themselves and be able to better themselves so that when they leave these doors, they're a stronger family, they're a stronger family unit, and they're able to work through the things that are going to happen later, right? We're building muscle memory. We're really teaching skills that are going to continue to happen. There's always going to be struggles. There's always going to be episodes. There's always going to be issues. I always say it's not about the episodes or the meltdowns or the tantrums. It's about how fast we're recovering and how we're recovering. What does that look like? The recovery time is actually where we see the progress.
Yeah, I love what you said at the beginning, that I don't have a magic wand, but Mom, Dad, you do. Let me help you find it. That is absolutely beautiful. So this type of treatment, let's get real, it can get expensive. It's not cheap to find experts like the team that you work with. But most folks have insurance. Does ROWI accept insurance? Do you take insurance?
We do. We are in network with some of the major insurances. And then also we have a really talented team that's able to get single case agreements for insurances that we're not in network with, because we do have some specialties in, again, teen mental health and autism, and we're primary mental health. So we do not work with clients with substance use disorder or eating disorder. We do work with clients with disordered eating because, teens sometimes do struggle with that. But once we shift into a substance use disorder or an eating disorder, we will then refer them to the proper care. Okay. And so we do have this very pinpoint specialty that a lot of programs do not have. So we are able to get those single case agreements, which really means we're able to say, hey, insurance, there is nothing else out there like what we do that is in network. So please be able to provide this client our care at the in-network rate. And we are pretty talented at being able to acquire those single case agreements.
That is so important because there's nothing more frustrating than being able to identify the care finally that your child needs and then hearing, yeah, your insurance doesn't cover it. Sorry. So grateful that your team is able to do that for them. So let's talk about that process before we get to the insurance part. When families find themselves in need of a little bit more intensive level of care, such as ROWI provides, can you walk our listeners through the process if they've got a family member they want to help?
Of course. We make it as simple and easy as possible because when we know that there's crisis going on, the last thing we need is loops and things to jump through.
Right.
So website, rowiteen.com, ROWITEEN.com. There is multiple ways. There's a contact us. There's a free assessment. Click that, and parents just fill out a short application, which then goes right to our admissions team. We only have human people answering the phones, and so one of our admission coordinators will then call the family, set up an assessment with our program director, and at that point, the program director will do an assessment. We will decide level of care and share that with the family, and hopefully we can start within the next couple of days.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it can
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Move very quickly at times. So, I mean, when you're calling for help for your kid, you don't want to have to wait a week.
Sure.
I want them in yesterday. And so they do move, pretty quickly. And I'll just add, like, our program director, Lindsay, in Valencia, is an extraordinary mental health professional, and so is her whole team there. And so these are local folks who, know the schools, know the community, know the unique dynamics that these kids are facing, and they tap into exactly what they're going through and are able to support them in such a special way. They care because it's the community, right? They want to make sure that these kids are able to be successful, and it impacts all of us ultimately. So it's particularly a special team there in Valencia.
Gosh, yeah, you guys are doing just amazing things. I can't get over it. So I noticed on your website, I was kind of browsing around, you guys have got a summer program. What can you tell me about the summer program and why that's so convenient for families?
So our summer program, we're really looking at ways that we can support more families over the summer when our teens or kids are not in school. And so when looking at the summer, we wanted to find ways that we could be more flexible. So it is our typical program. We're just offering more times within the day because typically our IOP program is offered from 3:30 to 6:30. I think in Valencia it's actually 2:30 to 5:30 based on the school district. We try to make it as easy as possible. But we also know that in the summer, some teens don't want to do that, right? They want to be with their friends in the afternoon. So finding different times that we can offer the 3-hour IOP program is what we're looking at this summer. So there's 3 different time slot options for our IOP program to really be able to get more teens in when they don't have the stress of school, but also allow them to have their time with their friends or camps or other summer opportunities that they're excited about.
You talked about, and I love that you're meeting families right where they are and when they are available. You talked about some of the locations that you have. You've really expanded. You have a location here in Valencia that we're so grateful for. You mentioned the location in Encino that offers support to kids that are a little bit younger, 8 to 12, as well as teenagers. What other locations have you got? What other areas do you serve?
So we service Thousand Oaks, Calabasas. Our Encino program is just for kids, so we don't have any teens in that program currently. So it's just a kids program.
Okay.
Then we have our Valencia program and our Burbank program, Pasadena, and then we're heading kind of towards we have Covina. Our 2 programs in the Inland Empire, actually now we have 3. We have Rancho Cucamonga, Corona, and our Temecula location just opened in the Inland Empire. And then in the South Bay, we have Torrance and Long Beach. And then in Orange County, we have Brea, Tustin, and Lake Forest. And then in this month, we're going to be kind of heading towards San Diego when we have our first San Diego location opening in Vista.
Beautiful. You guys are growing like wildfire, and that is great because the need is so great. Again, ROWI teen and parent wellness. Ladies, one last time, if folks need that extra level of care for their teens and support for parents, can you give us your website one more time or contact info?
Sure. ROWITeen.com, ROWITEEN.com.
Talking to Director of Marketing and Outreach, Karen Berkeley, for ROWI Teen and Parent Wellness, as well as her colleague, Clinical Director of the South Region, Melissa Zive. You're doing amazing work to help families and teens get back on track and live into their full potential. We are so grateful that our community has you. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you again real soon. This is SCVi and iLead Schools Eye on the Valley. I am Matt Watson, and this is your hometown station, KHTS. Welcome back. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVi and iLead Schools Eye on the Valley. I am your host, Matt Watson, and now it is time for Big T's 5 Minutes of Fame. Y'all know Big T. Big T is an executive and philanthropist. He's an amazing father, husband, and community leader. He's a world traveler, and he is the source of so many of my mental health concerns. Here he is, everybody. He's Mom's favorite. Big T, welcome to the show.
Morning, Maddie.
Good to talk to you, brother. We got engineer Andrew in the studio today.
Good morning.
And engineer
Good morning,
Jen
Andrew.
is,
Good morning, Jen.
Hi, good morning.
and Jen is here. She's going to kick our butt like she did last week. All righty.
A little bit of luck.
For those of you new to the show, Big T has trivia questions for us because, when I got my radio show, Mom said, yeah, you're not doing anything without your big brother. So we had to figure out a way to shoehorn him in here. He's got a whole list of trivia questions for us. Jen, Andrew, and I are going to try to buzz in and answer those questions, and you can play along at home with us. And you've got a significant advantage. You don't have to hit your buzzer. We're going to shout out our names, and Tony will recognize us. You just shout out the answer and see if you can beat us. But Andrew, Jen, the three of us are pretty smart. I don't think they're going to do it.
We'll see.
All right, Big T, I'll keep score. What do you got for us?
Hey, got a busy morning here, Maddie. We got of course, my in-laws are up here with us. The gardener just showed up. There's a golf tournament going on outside. Duke is not very happy.
No, I can imagine. Yeah, Duke likes his private time. You say you live near a golf course. Where is that?
It's the golf course.
Yeah.
It's right over there.
Oh, cool. That's very cool.
Right where all the golfers are.
Right where the golfers.
All right, Maddie. So you talked this morning about May 4th, right?
Yeah.
International Star Wars Day.
Yep.
Do you know what May 5th is?
It's Cinco de Mayo.
That is correct. Do you know what May 8th is?
Well, hang on. Let's back up. Engineer Andrew. Cinco de Mayo is Mexican Independence Day. Is that right?
That is not
No,
correct.
No, that is not correct. Yeah, there we go. Good man. So what you said? What's May 6th?
What's May 8th?
May 8th. Gosh. That's Mother's Day, isn't it?
No,
No, that's V-Day.
that's the 12th.
Oh,
It's the 12th.
May
May
8th.
8th is V-Day from World War II.
All right.
Right. And you know what May 14th is?
May 14th. Yeah, I do. As a matter of fact, that's Mom's birthday. Hey, Mom. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, one last thing. This is not your first trivia question, but just something that'll make you think all weekend long. The three of you, would you rather live next door to Clifford the big red dog or have Curious George be your roommate?
I got to go
right.
Clifford.
Remember those big
I
red
gotta
dukes?
think about that one.
Yeah, I know.
Can you
but
imagine the
he's
flies?
chill.
He is
He's
chill.
He lifts his leg and it'll be like a river going down the street.
I know, but Curious George is all over the place.
Yeah.
Too much
I
curiosity.
get you. There's no right answer there. All right, Maddie, you talked about it this morning. Question number one. Who painted Starry Night?
Andrew.
Andrew.
Van Gogh.
Van Gogh is correct. Who sang the song officially called Vincent, but it's better known
Frogger.
as Starry, Starry Night?
Frogger. That would be Don McLean.
That is correct.
Beautiful song.
In the movie West Side Story, what are the names of the two rival gangs?
Jen,
Oh, Andrew.
Jen,
Jets and the Sharks.
Jets and the Sharks is
When
correct.
you're a jet, you're
Cool.
a
In
jet.
Romeo and Juliet,
I'm singing,
who are
Tony.
the
Don't
primary-
step on my lyrics.
or don't sing when you're a jet, you're a jet.
From your first cigarette to your last dying day.
Copyright.
Goodness. In Romeo and Juliet, who are the primary antagonist
And
families?
Andrew.
Andrew,
The Montagues and Capulets.
that is correct. Nice pull. In the 2011 animated film Romeo and Juliet, who are the antagonists?
I missed that one. I'm sure there's a pun of some kind.
I don't know.
There is. It's actually still the Capulet and the Montagues, but they're nicely referred to as the red and blue gnomes.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Reds and the Blues.
Name-
There's Crips and Bloods.
Hey.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right. We're going to play a little bit of Name That Artist, okay?
All right.
From these songs, name the artist. Surfing USA, Good
Jen.
Vibrations. Jen,
Beach Boys.
Beach Boys is correct. Name the artist. Hot for Teacher,
Frogger.
Jump, Frogger.
Van Halen.
Van Halen's correct.
Yeah.
Name the two predominant singers for Van Halen.
Frogger.
Frogger.
David Lee Roth and Sammy Hagar.
That is correct.
I don't feel
How
tired.
does a football return man signal for a fair catch?
Andrew.
Oh.
Andrew.
Hand above the head.
Hand above the head. That is correct.
But what if he's got an itch?
In either
Hey, it's called.
in either NFL or college, what's it called when there are offensive and defensive simultaneous
Andrew.
penalties that cancel each
Oh.
other out? Andrew,
Offset.
offsetting is correct. Who did Snoopy have dog fights with?
Dog fights.
Andrew. Oh,
Andrew.
the Red Baron. So.
The Red Baron is correct.
Oh, I'm thinking
Nice
fights
pull.
with another dog.
Another
I'm like,
dog, yes.
the only other dog was
Dog
his cousin
fights.
Spike, and they didn't fight.
Ah,
Oh,
okay.
I forgot that one. Good pull.
Yeah.
He could have taken Spike. Spike and his fake mustache.
Yeah, I feel like
That's
Spike
right.
was
Oh,
self-medicating a little bit. Spike was always just so chill.
I forgot about Spike.
Spike, I think, was from Phoenix, wasn't he?
He was from the desert somewhere.
Who's Bart Simpson's sister?
Jen,
Jen.
Lisa Simpson, and Maggie Simpson.
Oh.
Oh,
Okay.
That is correct.
giving Jen
Lisa and Maggie.
0.5
Mhm.
for extra credit.
Thank you.
What are Donald Duck's nephews' names?
Frogger,
Andrew.
Frogger,
Huey, Louie, and Dewey.
Huey, Louie, and Dewey.
3
Cool.
points for that one.
All right, name
Oh, okay.
No.
name the artist. Name the artist. Heart-shaped box.
Jen.
Rate me.
Andrew.
Jen.
Oh,
Nirvana.
Nirvana's correct. All right, lead singer of Nirvana.
Frogger,
Frogger.
Kurt Cobain.
Perfect. Next question. Who killed Kurt Cobain?
Oh, Frogger.
Ooh, wow.
Frogger.
Getting a little
Am I allowed
deep.
to say this on the air?
We're getting deep here.
Okay, I'm just
All
going to
right.
go with, I'm alleging that it was Courtney Love.
Allegedly,
Yeah.
Big T is agreeing with you.
All right, I'm taking an alleged point on that.
All right. Name the answer, or name the artist. Paint It Black. Gimme
Jen.
Shelter.
Oh,
Jen.
The Rolling Stones.
Rolling Stones is correct. Which 2007 nerdy teen comedy starred Jonah Hill,
Andrew.
Michael Cera, Andrew?
Super bad.
Superbad. You know, Andrew, Frogger's not a fan of that movie.
you know, I am a
What?
fan of that movie. That is just a super bad movie to watch with your teenage son.
Oh,
Little
yeah,
bit.
for
A
sure.
little bit.
Come on, McLovin.
Oh, jeez.
I can top that, Frogger. I heard about this new movie that was out, and Erica was working, so I took my mother to the movies to see Hangover.
Oh, jeez.
It's a little worse.
Yeah, that's awful.
Yeah,
All
that's
right,
almost
what-
as awful
what-
as when your son Scott decided he wanted to play Cards Against Humanity with you and his mother.
Yes, that is true. What Pennsylvania city does The Office take place in?
Jen.
Frogger.
Jen.
Scranton? No.
Correct.
Scranton,
We'll
yes.
give it to you.
I'm taking a
We'll
point
give it to
away
you
because
before you change your mind again.
No, yes.
No, yes, I don't know. Scranton. Say
I
it with
gotta tell you.
confidence.
We would be tied at 6, each of us, except for the half-point extra credit that Jen got a few
Oh.
minutes ago.
Ooh.
Perfect. What actor played Agent Jack Bauer in the series 24?
Frogger.
Frogger.
That'd be Kiefer Sutherland.
That is correct. By letter count, sorry for the math, Frogger, but by letter count, May is the shortest month of the year. With 9 letters, what's the longest month of the year?
Jen.
Jen.
September.
September's correct. Nice pull.
Good job.
Also associated with Catholicism, what's a desperate last-minute football pass called?
Jen.
Ah,
The Hail Mary.
Hail Mary's correct. In baseball shorthand, it's a strikeout. On the periodic table, it's potassium.
Frogger.
What's the letter? Frogger.
K.
K.
Great question.
That was a good one.
I like that one, yeah. Yeah.
In movie ratings, what does PG stand for?
Jen.
Andrew.
I think
Frogger
I
was
got-
first.
Was it Frogger first?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going with parental guidance.
Parental guidance is correct. Which of the Greek gods was considered the ruler of all Greek gods?
Jen.
Andrew.
Jen?
Thor.
Frogger.
Incorrect.
Throwing it out there.
Frogger?
No, it's
Or
Andrew's
actually,
on
I'm
the
sorry,
board.
Andrew was next.
Andrew's on the
Yes.
board.
Zeus.
Yeah.
Was it Zeus?
Zeus is correct. Nice pull.
Also, the name of the dog in Sandlot.
Hey.
No, it wasn't
That was
Zeus, was
Hercules.
it?
Oh, that's right. It was Hercules.
Anyway.
Close
Yeah.
enough.
Who had a dog named Zeus? Producer Sarah, can you get on that? Somebody had a dog named Zeus.
Yeah. We need to know right now.
Right now.
A road sign which is an equilateral triangle is most often associated with what 5-letter action? Frogger.
Yield.
Yield is correct.
Boom.
All right, Frogger, we'll stay with some dogs for you. What was the dog's name in Rick and Morty?
No idea. Never watched it.
Nope.
Anybody? Snowball.
Okay.
What was the dog's name in the animated film Coco?
Oh.
Andrew.
Andrew.
Dante.
Dante's correct. Nice pull.
Nice.
What's the Grinch's dog's name?
Frogger.
Jen.
I think I heard Frogger first.
You did. Yes, you did.
Max.
Max is
Got
correct.
time for 2 more quick ones.
All right. What's Fraser Crane's dog's name?
Oh, Frogger.
Frogger.
Eddie.
Eddie's correct. Last question. What was the talking dog named in the movie Up?
Jen.
Jen.
Doug.
Doug is correct. Nice pull.
All right, great job, Jen. Real tight. Andrew with 8, Jen with 9.5. Frogger pulled it out at the end with 12. I got producer Sarah. Let's see. For a movie with dog named Zeus, come on, Sarah, we're running out of time. In the meantime, I want to thank our guest, Stephanie Byrne, high school facilitator at iLead Agua Dulce, ROWI's executive director of marketing and outreach, Karen Berkeley, their clinical director of the South region, Melissa Zive, producer Sarah, engineer Jen, engineer Andrew, Big T, and thank you for listening. Let's check on that real quick. The Lucky One, starring Zac Efron. Don't remember it. Anyways, it's a great name for a dog. Remember, friends, life is hard, but we're all here to help each other along. Be well and do good. And hey, tune in next week and every Friday from 8 to 10 a.m. I am Matt Watson, and this is SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS. What's up, CJ?